Okay, we're live. I'll give everybody a minute to get in. This probably just went out to everyone. I'm gonna send a quick message, let everyone know we're online.
Oh no, everyone's gonna, I'm not drinking beer.
That's why I give you a beer cup. Check it out, it's a beer mug.
Oh, nice.
That's so you can participate.
Oh, cool. Okay, so I see, at least I can see Vimal's message there on the side screen too.
Perfect.
Shrimp Pace, atta boy, what's up?
Shrimpy shrimp. Thanks for being here.
Vic, you better send me a selfie that shows that you have a beer in your hand too.
Even I'm cheating. I'm not even having a beer. I'm having a vodka mule. Total posers on this cryptos and beer.
It just had a nice ring to it, you know?
It did, yep. Hey, it looks like we got about 6 people on now. We'll wait one more minute.
Yep. Give the stream to about give the stream to about 6:35.
6:35. Okay, we're gonna give everybody 2 more minutes.
Oh.
Wow. I'm just gonna do a quick market check. Let's see what's going on. Tiny bit of a rebound.
I see Kanger, I see Johnny, Hitesh.
Awesome. Okay, looks like we got people joining up. We'll give it 1 more minute, guys, and then we'll get going. Oh, look at that. Even Drew is here.
What's up, Jordan?
Jordan, welcome.
Yo, man, we have 10 people on.
Can't believe it. Hey, it blew my expectations. I thought like five would be a great number.
I'm sure like I have people who actually are interested that it's like nighttime. So I have people in the UK and Bali that were interested too. So they'll probably watch the replay because this will be a permanent video on your channel, right?
It will, yeah, and we'll send you a link to it as well, so you can post it up too. I like this Bali idea. Let's host the next live stream from there.
Down.
Louis, welcome. Going viral. Not quite.
Subscribe, big fan.
We got a solid 10 here. Subscribed, big fan. All right. We know you made it big when you got a shrimp paste. Nope, it's not a beer. Both Brennan and I are complete posers. All right, cool. We're at 6:35, so let's get this going. First off, thanks for being here. I mean, this is awesome on a Friday evening. I'm glad nobody has anything better to do than hang out with Brendan and I and chat crypto. This is it's gonna be fun. Very much non-formatted. Ask any questions you like. We're just here to answer your questions. We've got a couple of topics that we'll be discussing as well through this. So we'll just try and keep it fun, loose, and entertaining for everyone. And hope everyone has a good time. And again, thanks for being here. And make sure if you're not already, subscribe to Brendan's channel as well. And that's For the People Crypto. Fantastic channel. There's going to be great content coming up on there. And the next time we'll probably do this live stream on his channel. And so stay tuned. Rob, good to have you, man. Been a long time.
We're up to 14 people.
Almost triple my expectations. That's great. All right. So you know what? Let's kick things off here. I know that there's been a lot of volatility in the market for the last couple of weeks, and Brendan, my first question is going to be for you. What's up with the markets? I know that you look at it from a heavy technical analysis perspective, so I'll let you have a first go, and then I'll give my perspective.
Okay, cool. So the markets of recently, actually, even if you go from what I usually do is when I take an overall look at what's going on, I take like a macro perspective. So let's just start from all the way back to at least the beginning of this year. And if you go out to the daily or the weekly charts, everything just looks like it's going straight up. It's crazy. But as of late, we seem to, Bitcoin seems to be doing just a little bit of a consolidation where we're going right now, kind of letting the altcoins, which if people who don't know what an altcoin is, it's literally any coin that's not Bitcoin have room to breathe, and people are investing in those right now. So that's kind of like a general spectrum of what's going on, in my opinion.
Yeah. So do you still consider Ether to be an altcoin, or do you think it's its own little beast now?
I think if you ask my personal opinion, obviously this ain't any financial advice from either one of us. I love ETH. I think Ethereum, which is probably not a very popular opinion, in the long run could get close or even take over the market cap of Bitcoin, just because of the way it is able to be used in real world case uses. Bitcoin is a great store of value as a digital asset, but I think Ethereum just has more room to grow. It's just up to what we actually use it for how high it can actually go.
Right. Yeah. I actually very much echo your opinion on that. The only thing that I would say is that Ethereum has a lot of competitors, whereas Bitcoin, it is the only one. Like, I mean, there is never going to be another Bitcoin. It already has established itself as that store of value digital gold, whereas Ethereum has now the Binance Smart Chain to compete against. It's got Cardano up and coming, Polkadot's up and coming. The Kusama parachains are coming around, I think later on this month. We've got Solana, we've got Atom. I could list dozens, and all of them have so much potential. And every one of them are at one point in time labeled the ETH killer. But have you ever heard of a Bitcoin killer? No, that just doesn't exist. That's why I always maintain that Bitcoin has something special, and I don't think anything will ever replace Bitcoin. It'll always have a special spot, and Bitcoin is what created this entire space. Without Bitcoin, we would have no altcoins essentially. But do I think Ethereum could one day actually take out Bitcoin? It could happen. It absolutely could, just because it's got so much more room for growth. When you start looking at its network effect, the DeFi space, everything in DeFi is built on it. NFT space, pretty much everything is built on Ethereum. Those are all things that could absolutely help it outpace Bitcoin at some point in time. Not in the next couple of years, but at some point in time for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like we actually have a question here from Johnny. Then why is so-called ETH 2.0 Cardano killer? Are they in the competitive space? So just a little bit of background on ETH and ETH 2.0. So ETH 2.0 is basically just the next next iteration of Ethereum. So when ETH 2.0 rolls out, ETH 1.0 will essentially just roll into that. And what's the difference? Well, ETH 1.0 was a proof of work coin versus ETH 2.0 proof of stake. And for those that aren't overly technical, what that essentially means is it's a lot faster because you have staking pools that are validating rather than individual servers around the world that are all having to agree with each other and verify transactions. And so that'll then put ETH on the same footing as pretty much every other one of its competitors. Is ETH 2.0 a Cardano killer? Well, I mean, you could say that it brings it on level footing to ETH. It brings it to level footing with Polkadot. It brings it to level footing with Solana. It makes it competitive again. So it would drop its fees. It'll increase the transaction speeds and make them all basically at the same place. So is it a Cardano killer? I don't know. I mean, honestly, it'll depend on timing because ETH 2.0, some people say that there's a chance that we could roll up pieces of it for the end of this year. But realistically, if you look at any software development project, including all crypto development projects, they're always behind. I would say that we're a minimum of a year away. And in that year, Cardano, Polkadot, Solana, they're going to be building their ecosystems. Are those ecosystems all of a sudden going to leave for Ethereum? I don't think so. I mean, there's plenty of room in the market for everybody. And they can all thrive and do incredibly well. So I don't think anybody needs to be the ETH killer. What they need to do is carve out their niche and create a space for themselves. What do you think, Brandon?
I like what Rob said too, because there is space for kind of everything. But he said he likes the term outpace rather than replace. So
yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Yeah.
If I was going to go down the outpace path, I'd probably say that some of the smaller competitors, such as Cosmos, Atom, and Solana, might actually outpace Ethereum. But will they ever dethrone Ethereum?
I don't think so.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither.
I'm like a straight ETH maxi, so.
but don't you have a pretty heavy bag of Solana?
I do have a nice bag of Ethereum, DOT, and Solana. So you could technically say they're all kind of striving towards the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And from that answer alone, you could tell like pretty much anybody that's investing in this industry, nobody's betting on one horse. I mean, that's crazy. That's like going to the NASDAQ and saying, okay, you can only pick one stock. Well, okay, let's all just pick Tesla, right? No, you're probably not going to do that. You're going to invest in Tesla, Facebook, Google, Amazon, Apple. You're going to diversify, and that's the same thing that any smart investor would do. It's just not necessary.
Okay, well, how about like since we're talking about like all these different kind of coins and everything, I had a few questions from like people saying like, what would like a starter pack look like if someone wants to just kind of trickle in and get started with crypto? So if we could, like, what you would invest if someone say got less than $10,000 to invest in?
Right. What would I invest in? Well, look, at the end of the day, when you have $10,000 to invest in, I don't care how much you have to invest in. You have $100 to invest in. Yeah. You need to be in Bitcoin and Ethereum. So those two, I personally say equally weight them. So put like $2,000 into each of those. And then the other 6,000, my starter pack has always been Cardano, Link, and Polkadot. Link is the creator of the Oracle space. The entire DeFi network doesn't go anywhere without an Oracle. And so I'm a huge believer in Link. Polkadot and Cardano are, to me, outstanding projects, and I think they're going to do incredibly well. They've been building for years, and I don't know, if you really want to be a crypto nerd, look at the ETH posse, and that was Dr. Gavin Woods, that was Charles Hoskins, and that was Vitalik Buterin, and those three have split across. And Vitalik obviously is Ethereum still. Dr. Gavin Woods is Polkadot, and Charles Hoskins is of course Cardano, and that's why I'm a huge believer in it, because they help create the smart contract space, and now they've gone up and created their own projects within that space. So that's why I like those three, and then Link for the reasons I stated. What's your starter pack, Brandon?
So mine's very, very similar to Min's. Mine would be, if I had 10 grand, I would split about 2,500 each of Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then the rest would be in Polkadot, so Dot, Chainlink, so Link. And then my last one is Solana. So the only difference between me and Min is mine's Solana and his is Cardano. That's it.
Yeah. And I wouldn't argue with that choice at all. Honestly, I have a small investment in Solana, and the reason I invest in Solana is because of, again, look who's backing them. I mean, we got oh man, why is his name escaping me? The creator. Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX and the Alameda Group, they are going to push all of their projects onto Solana. And when you start looking into who they are and what they represent, well, arguably almost as powerful as the ETH mafia, as I call them. And yeah, so the Solana is going to do outstanding. I wish I was a little more gutsy with my investment in Solana. I was very, very much a shrimp paste on that one.
And also the same guys who are with FTX. Remember that they just signed with the Miami Heat. So next year? It's going to be called the FTX Arena. So
exactly. Yep. And you know, not related, but somewhat related. Grayscale wasn't going to be outdone. Did you see the news about them investing in the New York Giants? Oh wow, that's so amazing. I mean, this is just going to keep snowballing. You're already seeing so many relationships with crypto companies and sports franchises. That's why I think the NFT space, which I'm sure a lot of people have questions around as well, is going to do amazing. NFT, I think, is going to be what brings the rest of the world into crypto. Right now, I mean, it started out with the cypherpunks, the complete nerds that were super into cryptography, and then it was anybody that was involved in the world of finance as the DeFi space got huge. But NFTs is everybody. Like, I mean, it's the world of art, it's the world of gaming, it's the world of entertainment, it's the world of ticketing. It's everything, and it's a world of collectibles. Basically, everything else can be an NFT. It's amazing. When I start thinking about the NFTs, I love it. I love the space, and I think it's going to do some amazing things.
For sure.
Nikesh, I see that you're asking about platforms, and there are a few platforms that I definitely recommend. For all of my onboarding and offboarding, I personally use CoinSquare just because it is a Canadian exchange, and there's free e-transfers to and from it to it, and so it's a great exchange. It also keeps everything in cold storage. It's fully insured, and my nephew Vimal, who's working behind the scenes here, and was the one that actually put all this together for us. He's the face behind MV Crypto, and so he'll be posting up some links for that. And then Binance is the other site, as Binance definitely has a lot of the other projects that we're talking about. So Solana, Polkadot, Cardano, you'll find those at Link. You'll find all of those on Binance. But I know that Brendan, you use Netcoins, which is also outstanding. So if you want to post that up as well, please do post your referral link, because I know that everybody will get a nice little bonus if they sign up using that. And I've looked at Netcoins, and Netcoins is awesome. I have nothing negative to say about them whatsoever. They've got all the same benefits as CoinSquare as well.
Yeah, so I think I use Netcoins is what I use to get started. I know even when Esther got started too, she used ShakePay, which is another one. And then also I use FTX Exchange, which is also very
Not only are you an investor, but also a user.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. The fees in just being a trader are slightly smaller than Binance, and also because I have a boatload of FTT, which is the exchange token for FTX. I save a hefty amount trading quite a bit on that exchange too.
Yeah, so hello there. I'm Vimal, and I'm the guy behind the scenes.
Did you want to say anything else?
Doge to the moon. Yeah.
You can post up those links now for CoinSquare and Binance.
Oh, we're done. It's in the description.
Oh, perfect. Oh, okay. So the links are actually in the description for CoinSquare as well as Binance. And so using those links, you'll get you'll save half your trading fees, as well as get a little bit of free Bitcoin on your first transaction. And when Brendan posts his up, I know that there's a discount on there. So what will they get using Netcoins?
Yeah, so if you use that link, you'll get $10 right away. They were doing a promo for $50, so I don't know if that's still ongoing, but I know it's for sure $10 when you sign up with someone's link.
Right. Awesome. All right. So we've got a couple of the questions here. So Louis, is super a big part of the NFT realm? Why hasn't been added? Well, actually, Louis, to be honest, if you look at any crypto project, they always start out with a huge amount of hype when they first come out, and they perform really well based off of pure speculation. And then what usually happens is that for the next month, 2 months, while they're actually building up their use case, they usually drop off, and that's why I always tell people don't buy into things right when it comes out, as your chances of getting dumped on are pretty high. So has it really been performing like shit? No, it's performed exactly as I would pretty much expect it to. But what we're seeing right now is it just released its first project with the Paid Network. They have this amazing partnership with Paid Network, which is an IDO, so an initial DEX offering, which allows people to get involved in projects before they go public for sale on places like Uniswap. And so Cold Stack is what they've delegated as their first project, and Cold Stack's gonna be amazing. I mean, when you look at Cold Stack, look at Filecoin, look at the BitTorrent token. They've all done amazing. I mean, Filecoin's up to, I don't know, I think it's a billion market cap, whereas Cold Stack is coming in at about $700,000 valuation on its initial release, and so that's going to be a hot project. That thing is going to probably shoot up like crazy when it first comes out. And what do you need to participate in these? Well, you need to be holding super tokens. You can hold either super tokens or paid tokens and get involved in these. So, Super is starting to build its use case. And this is only its first use case, these IDOs. It's got a roadmap that goes about 5 use cases deep. And just go to the Super Twitter page, and you'll find all of that on there. There's a lot that they're doing. Elliot Trades is the guy that created it, and he's been in the space for a long time. I mean, I've been watching his channel since I started in crypto 4.5 years ago, and I've watched him build. The guy is amazing. He brings legitimately some of the best projects that I've invested in to the community. So I have no doubt that everything that launches on the Super Paid network is going to be just absolute bank if you can get into them. They are competitive to get into, but even if you don't get into them, just watch their patterns, right? Watch after they get released, watch for the big dump after the initial investors try to cash out and de-risk, and then jump into them. I'll be doing the same. I mean, I doubt I'll get an allocation. It's pretty competitive out there. But if I do, I mean, I'll be super happy about it. But if I don't, I'll still be buying on the open market. So Super is going to do well. I'm not interested in dropping any of my Super personally. Brendan, how do you feel about it?
Well, I feel the same, and I'm hoping and praying, just because I have 1,000 Super, which is what you need to be entered into the raffle, pretty much to get an allocation for their upcoming projects. So I'm not selling any of my Super just for the sake of having even a chance to get at these. Like having that chance even is like crazy for what it will do. Yeah.
Exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Amir
we got
Salah, I'll post a link to his channel in just a second. I'm just going to search it up for you. Okay.
Okay, so Jordan asked, what's your exit strategy and how do you decide it's time to pull profits? That is probably one of the most popular questions and the most frequently asked for anyone even starting or someone who has also been in the space for a bit too. People who have, I'll tell you something right now. If you've already made like life-changing money and you've like doubled up, like you should already been taking a little bit of profits just to know no profits are realized until you take it back into a stable coin or like into your currency, into your fiat currency.
Yeah, no, that's you're absolutely right, and the what I always preach, and Johnny's nailed it. Yeah, oh, Johnny, you're like you really take great notes when we talk. DCA, I always preach a DCA strategy. You're not going to go all in when you start in crypto, and you're not going to go all out when you get out of crypto. What the best, most low risk way to get in and out of any asset class is to dollar cost average. And so, personally speaking, the way I'll be exiting is I've got a time frame, and I watch a lot of technical indicators. Even though I'm not a technical trader, I do watch a lot of technical indicators, and I've got an idea of when I'll be starting my dollar cost averaging out. Brendan's right. Like, I mean, Brendan's approach is actually a really reasonable approach. To like, start taking profits like as soon as you 2x on something. But for myself personally, I mean, I do take profits, but I only take them to reinvest into Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. But getting out of this market, the 4-year cycles are a real thing. Right now, it looks like, oh man, everything's just going up, 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 never going to not go up. It's all the institutions are coming in. It's always up, right? But it's not always going to be this way. So starting in about September, I'd be starting dollar cost average out, and so that means that taking out somewhere between 5 and 10% of my holdings up until I hit 10% holdings remaining every week out of the market, and using that as my strategy to get out. Will I time the top? Absolutely not. Do I want to time the top? Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be amazing if we could, but I have no faith that I would ever be able to nail that. Or if anybody ever tells you they can, they're most likely lying. They want you to hold the bags while they get out. So no, I mean, dollar cost average out and take a small percentage out all the time when you're starting to get into profit. And watch the cycles, because the cycles are a real thing, and that's why September is when I'll be starting to exit out of the market from September all the way through till November.
So when this quote unquote cycle tops, is Bitcoin gonna go first? Like, are altcoins, like, what's the order that you think that you're gonna go?
Yeah, so I mean, that's a great question, because typically speaking with the cycles, Bitcoin is the one that tops out first, and then the money starts to cycle into the mid tier, then to the lower tier, and so that's the way I would play it as well. I would start removing my position from Bitcoin first, and then I would move to the mid tiers. So that would be most of what I've invested into the DeFi space, as well as into things like Polkadot, Cardano, Ethereum. And then I would go into the low caps after that for the latter part of the run. But I will always leave about 10% in, just because I could be absolutely wrong. Maybe this time will be different. I'll never believe that until I see it, because I mean, if you look at everything that's happened, it's following exactly the 4-year cycle. Exactly as predicted. Yeah. Okay, for all the non-crypto nerds, that's a meme for one of the crypto channels. He's a technical analyst, and he actually is pretty amazing. But yeah, every time he comes on, it's always exactly as predicted. All right, we got another question here. Sorry, I hope we answered that question on our exit strategy. If not, just post another question. Cardano dot BTC or ETH. Personally speaking, I would play it exactly as I said earlier. I wouldn't choose, and you got to diversify between them. To me, my biggest holdings are Bitcoin and ETH because they're my anchors. I'm playing a low risk strategy because we're already in a high risk space. And then Cardano and DOT, they're actually my next two holdings. So yeah, I just have a smaller allocation, but I'm spread across all of them. How about you, Brand?
Yeah. Besides just replacing Cardano with my Solana, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Okay.
We have a more advanced question from Vic. Oh man, it's like I took a picture of it. One sec.
Oh, did I miss that? Sorry about that.
Yeah, it says, would you be comfortable staking during the bear market? And if not, why do you think there are some people that are very excited to do so, knowing there is good chance it'll drop 50 to 75% in value?
Go ahead. I'll let you answer that first.
I don't know how to answer that.
Okay, I'll answer it. I'll happily answer it. Vic, to be honest, no, there is absolutely no chance that I will be staking anything that goes past September. By September, I need to be in positions that are fully able to be liquefied. The people that are investing and willing to stake past that, they have one of two things that are true. They have an extremely long time horizon, and they're willing to hold through this next bear market that'll come up, or they really do believe that this time is different. Well, okay, I'll give you a third option, or they're newer investors that don't understand the 4-year cycle. That's the only things that I would see as reasons why. And you know what? Honestly, if you staked up your Ethereum and put it in for ETH 2.0, which has a 2-year hold period on it, I don't think you'll do poorly. I think that you will watch it diminish in value by a lot. But by the time that 2-year staking is over, I'll bet you it'll be worth more than it will be in this year. And at any point this year, the all-time high this year will be surpassed by the time that staking hold period is clear. So if you have a longer time horizon, go for it. Like, I mean, why not get a few more ETH between now and 2 years from now when they're giving you up to 15% right now because you're an early staker? Go for it, take it. You could time it and sell it and then try and time the bottom and rebuy and maybe come out ahead. But if you have a long time horizon, ETH ain't going nowhere. ETH is only going up. And so that's the one good reason to stake. But the other two reasons are a little bit of short-sightedness, in my opinion.
Would you? This is a question for me. Would you? I guess get back into stable coins, into USDT or USDC, and then maybe stake those and earn maybe like 5%, 5 to 6% through the bear market, and then you're ready to buy the dips.
That's an absolute yes. That actually is how I would be exiting the market. I wouldn't be exiting just for dollars. I would be exiting for USDT or probably more likely USDC, just because it has a little more backing behind it that I trust. And you can get not just 5%, you can get up to 8% on those. And
really?
So yeah, you can. Yeah, on BlockFi here, it's up to 8%. I've also seen on a couple of other exchanges like Poloniex, where they'll give you pretty reasonable returns. It's not like banking, regular banking, where it's only 0.02%. Now, I mean, we can get to real interest rates here in crypto, and so yeah, I would actually be selling for stable coins and then cashing out a portion of it to diversify, just because I am way too heavy in crypto at the moment, and that's not safe for anyone. I'm just taking advantage of an opportunity at the moment. So yeah, I would be going into stable coins for what I plan to leave in crypto, and so that it's available for me for 18 months after the bear market, because that's when things will start to bottom out and be great opportunities to jump back into this market.
Sweet. All right, guess I'm doing that then.
Hey, this ain't financial advice. This is just my opinion.
Well, I'll be taking some out to pay
Yeah,
for some real world diversification in assets.
exactly. And it's something that you have to do and you have to start thinking about. I see a question from Rob here. I was wondering if you thought that this cycle might be longer cycle, just due to the fact that there's gaining mainstream novelty. Thoughts? Look, it's a possibility. I absolutely is a possibility, Rob. I'm not going to discount that factor, especially because if you look at the timing of when some things are happening, such as the Bitcoin ETF, that might actually be happening towards the end of summer. And could that cause the cycles to last a little longer? Absolutely. There's a ton happening. And you look at even like what the banks are doing right now in terms of their offerings, and they're slow moving. Right now, they're trying to set themselves up to get their high net worth investors into the market by creating products, but it's going to take them months to create these products. So could the bull market last longer? Absolutely. But like I said, I mean, I have a strategy. I'm going to stay to it. Maybe what I would do is slow my strategy down, and instead of 10%, or 10 to 5%, maybe I'll take out a 2 to 3% per week. But my strategy is going to stay the same, and I'll be watching the technical indicators in order to tell me if we are hitting an overheated market that has to cool down, or if it's still safe to maybe hold a little longer. So yeah, it could be. I mean, there's a lot of talk from guys that are really smart, such as Dan Held, who's been in this industry as long as anybody, who talks a lot about the super cycle. And that super cycle would put us into a situation where we could have a bull market that lasts for years. I still don't see it happening, but maybe I'm just short-sighted. What do you think, Brad?
Since this is my first rodeo, I've only been in the game for probably about just under a year, or about a year. So I have not experienced pain like Min has, or other people who have been in the space for a long time. So I only know what it feels like to go up. I'm grateful I got in at the right time, but I think because like my crypto portfolio has been doing numbers that like I couldn't even fathom when I was doing stocks and other investing.
Yeah.
That like I feel like I would need to just dollar cost average out just to realize some gains, and then I still think that a lot of indicators, just because I day trade a lot, still points to it cooling down and having a mad cool down just about around that fall time area too. So
yeah, are you looking at Elliott wave theory when you're looking at those numbers?
that's part of it too, and then a lot of it has to do with just a lot of volume and RSI, and then also stock to flow as well.
Gotcha. Yeah. Those are all fantastic indicators. I mean, they're classic indicators that you can use in any market, and those are a lot of the same things that I do look at. I'm just not as good at it as Brendan is. Okay. Sorry, Johnny. I totally misunderstood your question. Do those all need to be sold? My opinion, yes. I'll hold a 10% allocation of all of those, but yes, I will sell all of those as well. Those would actually be my second to sell. So I would start with Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin, ETH, Cardano, DOT would be kind of my second wave of things that I sell off. Okay, and got another question from Louis. Are there any indicators that might make you want to exit before September? Why are you thinking of September to November? Okay, actually, since he mentions indicators, Louis mentioned indicators specifically. Brendan, that's more your thing. I'll answer the question as well, but I'll answer it slightly differently. But I'll let you go first on that one.
Well, it's kind of briefly what we just talked about, which is there's a lot of indicators with stock to flow, and also RSI, which RSI just means the amount of buyers or like buying or selling pressure. So if it becomes we're at a point where it's super overheated, then I would maybe take profits a little bit more aggressively prior to September. But I don't think that like the general cycle that we're on right now still should end up around that time. But again, this is for my first rodeo too, so Lynn can throw in his experience there.
Yeah. So where I came up with September to November is based off of the last 3 4 year cycles, because that's all we have to go with. Like, I mean, we've only got 12 years worth of data to work with. And so the last 3 halvening cycles, they had essentially an 18-month bull market, and it usually doesn't start right at the halvening. It usually starts at about 6 months after the halvening. So what told me initially that this will be no different than every other time is almost exactly 6 months after the halvening, the bull market started in September, and that was about 6 months after the happening, which is insane. Like, I mean, I've never seen anything that's as predictable as crypto. That's why I had so much faith in it. I'm a math and numbers guy. I loved it. I always have. And I've always loved patterns. I always look for patterns in everything that I work with when it comes to financial modeling. And that's why I know that, you know what, it's 18 months, and it started in September, which was 6 months after the happening, and that puts it at about September for when we should start to see that cool down, that blow off top moment. If you really want to know when that blow off top moment is looking the most likely, is start looking for, you know, days where you're seeing 15 to 20% gains. As soon as you start seeing that, you know our days are numbered. That is so not sustainable. I don't care how many institutions are into this game. I don't care how many billionaires want to invest in this. That is not sustainable in any market. When you start seeing people wanting to mortgage their homes because they need to buy Bitcoin, that's a great top indicator, right? So those are the types of things that we will see. We'll see this hysteria phase, and that is the same in every market. I don't know if anybody ever has seen the Wall Street cheat sheet. I'll bring it up on screen in a few minutes. I'll have to look it up. But that describes every market, because you know what? At the end of the day, human psychology is exactly the same, and we will behave exactly the same no matter what asset it is. And you'll see similar patterns, and that is proven over centuries, not decades, centuries, because that's how far we have data on stock markets and on bonds as well. While I look that up, I see that there's another question from Johnny. What happens after the 4 years? Does it become a bear market, and for how long? So Brendan, do you want to start on that one? And I'm going to look up the Wall Street cheat sheet.
Yeah. So pretty much, like, I wouldn't be the expert of this just because I've only been this in about a year. But the bear market can last, I don't know, a few months. It could last a few years. So the real answer is we don't really know. But at the same time, just look back at history, right? If you look back at history, it seems to repeat itself, or at least come very close to what it's done in the past. Now, because I haven't been through that, I don't exactly know how much pain did you go through, Min? Oh, you're muted.
A lot. I mean, I came very close to leaving this industry. I thought, oh man, I'm wrong. It's all a scam. Like, I mean, this is just ridiculous, because I got in toward the end of the last bull run, and I took a lot of losses and looked at it and like, I guess I was just wrong. I can't understand what's going on, and I had to take 6 months to step back and really start understanding from a fundamental standpoint what the market was. Start studying it day in and day out. I just kept trying to figure out like what is this, because honestly, at the end of the day, I'm stubborn. I didn't believe I was wrong. I thought that, look, I mean, there's more to this than what I'm seeing, and a ton of homework, thousands of hours, like legitimately thousands of hours. I mean, I've talked to most of you here. I mean, most people know that I'm in this market somewhere between 4 and 6 hours every day, either consuming content, reading, trying to look at the charts, 4 to 6 hours every day. It is legitimately a second full-time job for me. And that's a discipline that I've had for pretty much 4.5 years now. And I stopped investing. I started watching, and then I learned about the 4-year cycle. And that's when I realized, like, oh man, I'm such an idiot. Like, I mean, it's so obvious now that that this was like just the wrong time to be stepping into this market. It's not just going up forever, but the legitimacy of this market is still there. So yeah, I got a really expensive education in crypto when I started. So when you talk about getting in about a year ago, when this bull market just started, I envy you and hate you just a little bit for that, but that's okay. But yeah, no, it was rough. So to answer your question more exactly, Johnny, is that I will look to re-enter this market after the crash, after the blow off top, in somewhere between 12 to 18 months, because that's how long it takes to find a new bottom. And there are, again, technical indicators that'll tell us when we're approaching that bottom and time to start reinvesting. And then you can hold that again for another 3 years to enjoy the ride of the next 4-year cycle. I hope that answered the question. I'm going to share something now. This is the Wall Street cheat sheet. I think I got it on a separate tab. Yes, I do. Let me share. And I'm going to share a particular window, this one here. I hope this works. Sorry, we are complete rookies at this.
You can see it.
You're seeing it? Okay, awesome. Okay, so this is the Wall Street cheat sheet, guys. And here you can see that the market psychology. And so where we were about 12 months ago was right in here. I mean, it was still pain. It was all about pain. Remember, it was only about 13 months ago, 14 months ago that we had the big coronavirus dump, and everybody was just absolutely gutted, seeing their portfolios, looked like what it was, okay, starting to come up, and then absolutely trashed. And then, things went up a little bit, and then got trashed again. And then in about September, we got into this stage, the hope stage, like, oh my God, oh, crypto's coming back to life. And, we got to about December, which was probably around here, where we broke that $20,000 barrier from the last cycle. People still weren't really paying attention, but they were like, okay, things are real. And I feel we're somewhere in this area right over here where we've seen this nice, steady growth with some pretty vicious drop-offs. Don't get me wrong, it's never just straight up and to the right. If it was, hell, we'd all be able to be rich because we would just leverage trade the crap out of it. But we can't, because we do have these severe corrections. But I feel somewhere in and around here. We haven't seen this yet. This is the ride that we're in for, I think, this summer. Right. And I think this ride starts probably somewhere towards mid-June, after we hit 100,000. After we hit 100,000, I think this is what's going to happen. We're going to have a massive correction, just because that is a major psychological number. But then we're going to hit this optimism, belief, thrill, and euphoria, where we're not going to be able to go anywhere without somebody talking about Bitcoin. And, oh my God, I just mortgaged my house. And, oh my God, I got into an Uber and the driver is telling me about Bitcoin. Those are all the things. And everyone's going to be, looking for their mansions, putting their orders in for Lamborghinis, because we all got to get our Lambos. And then everybody is going to be just gutted when this happens, because That's what happens when everybody gets a little too comfortable, because they think all crypto is going to do is it's going to keep going up, another 20% tomorrow, another 20% the day after that, and I'm just going to be rich, right? And then we'll have a little relief rally, only to tell those people, oh, thank God, it looks like it's coming back again, only to get destroyed, right? And then that's when everyone capitulates and says, okay, I guess crypto was a scam. Jamie Dimon was right. And then they get upset, they sell it, say, I'm never going back into crypto. And that's where that depression starts. And then we start the cycle over again, right? And that's why this stage here takes somewhere between 12 and 18 months to happen.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm glad I jumped in right in time. I literally jumped in at the perfect time.
Still gonna hate you a little bit. Anyways, I hope that helped answer the question for some people, and why I am so so absolutely gung ho about selling in September to November. I am a huge crypto advocate. Just because I sell does not mean I don't believe in this space. I will never not believe in this space. This space is going to be one of the most revolutionary things that happens to our entire planet. It decentralizes the power of real money. Which is what it always was supposed to be. Gold was the first form of real money. And where did gold come from? It came from the ground. It didn't come from a government printing it on pieces of paper, manipulating it for their own needs. That is not what money was ever supposed to represent, right? Anyways, I'll get off my soapbox. Okay.
How safe are stable coins, and what makes them stable?
Okay, go ahead. I think you have a good handle on that.
Yeah, so what we call stable coins is stuff that has been tethered or coded to the price of the US dollar, since that's what most people are trading against, and that's what most people value each coin against. The reason why they are stable is because they are supposed to be like, or Min can explain it a little bit further, but in my knowledge is that this, like for example, USDT, which is Tether, has enough assets to back all of the minted USDT that they're making.
Yeah, it's that's pretty much true. I mean, what makes a stable coin stable is the fact that it is backed by a dollar. There are some that are backed by baskets of goods, but the majority of stable coins are backed by US dollars. And so they have to provide a full audit of bank accounts that show that if they have 1 billion Tether or 1 billion USDC, that they have 1 billion US dollars in a bank account somewhere to back that. And so that's why it always holds to a dollar. No one's gonna, bid up the price of a USDT to $2. Like, who's going to do that? I mean, that's basically like saying, here's a dollar bill and putting it up for auction, and somebody saying, yeah, I'll pay $2 for that. No, that's just stupid. So yeah, most stable coins are just that. They're stable coins for that reason. Now, there are some newer stablecoins that are coming into the market that are actually starting to be backed by baskets of cryptocurrencies. And so those are really interesting projects. I mean, I haven't looked too far into them. If people are interested, I'll happily look more into them and come back with some feedback on those. But those are a little bit different. And the whole world of DAIs, Maker DAI being one of the most important. That's a DAI standing for decentralized autonomous. What does the I stand for? Institutions? No, it'll come back to me. I was reading it just earlier today. Disappointed. Okay. Anyways, but these DAI projects, which, personally speaking, and this is something I was going to talk about a little bit later on, I think is going to be one of the next waves because it feeds right into the whole world of DeFi. But basically, DAI projects are decentralized organizations. And they basically, all the holders of a token such as Maker, which is the top DAI project in DeFi, get to basically have a say in how the network works and how they're actually going to stabilize their currencies. And so these DAI type projects are going to become huge because they're the ones that are then going to start being able to make the decisions. There are certain things they won't be able to change, which is the fact that they are controlling a stable coin or a stable network, but there are a lot of other things they can do, and in return they get paid for that by the fees that are collected by that network, and that's why Maker has shot up to. I mean, it had shot up to over $6,000 per coin. It's since cooled down to I think it was around $5,800 or something like that. But yeah, DAIs are going to be huge in this space for that reason, and it's not just for stablecoins. DAIs are essentially the governance tokens for a lot of different cryptocurrency projects, which you're going to see a lot more press coming on.
Cool. How do you develop and grow diamond hands?
Honestly, I think I have held projects for up to 4 years, up to 4.5 years actually, because I'm still holding some things that I really believed in from a very long time ago. The reason why I can hold those projects for that long is because I spend a lot of time in this environment, in this space, and I keep up on these projects and I see the development that's going on behind the scenes. I've had project Cardano's a perfect example where everyone's just like, oh, why are you holding that garbage? It's doing absolutely nothing. Sell it, get back into Bitcoin, or get out and get this into this other project. Well, when you see the development going on in the background and you believe in what they're doing and you see them making the right steps, it's not always reflected in the price. It can sometimes take years, especially with an aggressive project. And I would say Cardano is one of the most aggressive projects on this entire market space. Like what they're trying to do was not small. I mean, they're trying to build a financial backbone for countries, they had to restart the project twice over. And yeah, well, I gutted seeing the value of their coin just get destroyed over and over after it starts making gains, of course. But I'm watching all of that happening in the background, and I continue to believe in it. I'll dump any project if I see that they're not making the right steps. But when I see that they are doing what they promised that they were going to do and are making the right steps going forward, I'm happy to hold things like that. So that, for me, that's how I develop diamond hands, is by knowing what the project is, what it represents, what it stands for, and if it still stands for the same things.
I think it's easier to hold a coin or a certain coin or a project just because you've done enough research and you know the direction of the project and everything, as opposed to people who are just trying to get into crypto to just make money. At least do some research to see what you're investing in, and see what its real world like case use is supposed to be, or what it's supposed to be bringing. Because then at least you know you're investing into something towards like adoption or the future of what we're going to use, as opposed to if you're just in it for the money. Of course you're gonna feel like stress and anxiety if you see your portfolio take a 15 to 20% dip, which at least I've gone through those. I haven't gone through a bear market.
Those are baby dips, Brandon. I have survived through an 80% drop in 2 days.
Yeah, that's guess the universe has my back. It's just
that's why I got a lot more white hairs.
So funny. Yeah.
Okay. So the man in charge just came and told me that he's given me a 10-minute warning because he thinks the live stream needs to stay at about an hour. So we'll hang out and we'll chat for another 10 minutes. I do see that there is one more question here.
Well, I think this is a good one. At what point would you say it's too late to enter the crypto market? Well, you heard from Min and myself that even if we think this is going to hit a we're gonna start dollar cost averaging out in September. That means you have until now, until September, to make gains, right? So I mean,
I would actually back it up a little bit more, because investing after June, when we get into what I think is going to be a hype cycle, is like one of the most dangerous things to do. And I can't even imagine being a new investor and watching the level of volatility that we'll see at that time, because we will see some very vicious drops as well, even though it's going to be mostly straight into the right. So if you're interested in getting involved in the space, try to get involved before the end of June. So I would say 2 months is the window of time to really get in and still make some really great gains.
And if you need a tutorial on how to buy crypto, I do have a little tutorial on my channel, which is literally how to set up and buy crypto with your Netcoins. So you can get that going ASAP too. It's very easy, quick e-transfer. That's it.
I've watched the video. It's actually a really good video. That was really well done, Brandon.
Oh, nice. It's our first rodeo, so you guys can bear with our stumbles and our not so good editing and not our beautiful thumbnails and everything, but we're trying to share as much knowledge as we can with everyone. That way we can all take advantage of this space, so we can all have a Lambo party at the end of it, right?
Don't worry, Brent. We still got about 5 months to get our old faces and like shocked.
Oh man.
All right. There's another really great question from Louis. So we getting taxed on these gains? I guess the government doesn't know I have a Binance account, right? Actually, Louis, the government knows you have a Binance account. The government knows you have a CoinSquare account. The government has done a lot of work to get themselves sorted out, because at the end of the day, the government needs to make their cut of this as well. So if we get rich, trust me, the government wants their piece of all of it. I mean, unless you were extremely lucky and have an anonymous wallet for any particular reason, yeah, the government knows, and yes, you want to pay your taxes. Otherwise, you're always going to be looking over your shoulder, and if you get caught cheating, the penalties are shit. So unless you have an anonymous wallet, I'd say that the government probably knows you have a crypto investment. A lot of crypto exchanges are getting subpoenaed by the governments to hand over records, so that the government can start tracking all of this type of stuff. That's my personal opinion. Do what you want. If you can get away with it, all the power to you. Move to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico has zero taxes on crypto gains. It also has zero taxes on a lot of types of capital gains that we pay. So there's my next best bit of advice.
Great, we're all moving.
Yeah. Hey, Puerto Rico looks like a great place, other than all the hurricanes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so I know that we only got about 5 minutes left, and I don't see any new questions coming on here. I started answering this question about what I think is the next cycle, what I think is the next grouping of projects that are going to do great. We've seen an NFT wave. We had seen last year, September, an amazing DeFi wave. And then we've seen an Oracle wave a couple of times come through now. Bren, what are your thoughts on that? What's the next wave of things that people should be looking out for?
Well, right now, like, just like I said, like, I'm trying not to speak in such like technical terms, but like Bitcoin dominance, which means a bunch of money, which is the amount of money from the overall market cap that's invested into Bitcoin, is below 50% right now. So a lot of people, a lot of money and new money is flowing into projects and altcoins that is not Bitcoin. In my opinion, I think Bitcoin's going to run it up soon, and gather and like show everyone who's boss. But I think we're on DeFi right now, and once Binance launches their marketplace for NFTs, I think NFT space will go absolutely bonkers. Like, you're gonna see 2, 3, 4x's in like a day, which is like it's going to make stupid amounts of money. And then we kind of just go in these DeFi and NFT spaces. And then once we get to projects that can provide more security to these, I think those will have a run too. But other than that, I don't know. That's my take.
Yeah. If I could get a little more specific on some of my thoughts that I had earlier, I actually agree 100% on the Bitcoin thing. Bitcoin has been, there's a YouTuber that I follow that he puts his best. Bitcoin's like grandpa. He was the first one that came around. He created the space, and he gets a little bit sleepy sometimes. He just kind of hangs out. But when you throw a 90s mix on and he hits the dance floor, he hits it hard. And so I think that we're about to have a little 90s remix coming on, and I think Bitcoin is going to jump. And when it does, it's going to hit that $70-something thousand mark, which I had called for at by the end of this month. I thought that Bitcoin will be in the 70s. Because we've been hanging out in the low 60s and in the 50s for a long time now. Well, a long time in terms of a market cycle, not a long time in many other markets. But I do think that we're going to see a $70,000 Bitcoin this month. And so you're right. Bitcoin is going to get some attention again. But outside of Bitcoin, I think that the DeFi space, and in particular the DAOs, as well as the oracles, are going to start to see some really big things happening. The oracles are what make the DeFi space go, and so you're going to start to see Link really start to take off. Shrimp Paste will be happy to hear that, and the DAOs, which are the decentralized authorities behind them. People are really starting to understand what value they have, and they're starting to see that everybody that participates in these networks gets rewarded like hugely from them. Maker is a great example of one. Badger's another one. I mean, it's been sleeping a little bit, but you're starting to see it creep up now. And Brent, I know that's a project that you're excited about. And so watch out for the DAOs. Watch out for the oracles, because I think those two are going to start doing some special things. And then the rest of the DeFi space will move with it. But I think ETH takes a little bit of a step backwards right now. I think that when I say step backwards, that just means the throttle comes off a little bit. Could it see some retrace? Probably. But I still think it's going to slowly start moving upwards. I still think 3,800 to 4,000 for the end of this month is very realistic. But it's not going to shoot up by hundreds of dollars every day again. Not until its next wave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep, I agree with both of those.
You're also going to start to see some pretty amazing things with NFTs, by the way. I follow a lot of people that are in the NFT space, and I've been listening to a lot of people that are completely not crypto related, talking about NFTs and what they're doing with them. It's brought them into the space. There's going to be some amazing things that are happening there. I don't want to get into it. I'm going to say that.
we could have an entire NFT
I was just going to say. And you know what? When we do this on your channel, let's focus a little bit more on the NFTs, because I think it's so misunderstood. And I could go on a half-hour rant easily on those. I promise I won't, but I usually could. Yeah, so we'll save that discussion for the next go around. But I see Vince did post a question. I just want to answer that question quickly. The CRA essentially treats crypto gains exactly like stock gains. So if you made money trading Tesla stock, it would be the same thing as making money trading Bitcoin. So treat it the same. It's treated as capital gains. So it's still quite favorable. Like at the end of the day, you're probably going to, I mean, if you're on the high side, you're going to be paying about 25% on your crypto gains. So pay them and live good. Right. Brent, do you have any final thoughts that you want to share before we cut this off today?
I would say if you're doubting and like skeptical of it, just do enough research. Min has a great 101 video on his channel. just do enough research to make you feel comfortable, but do not invest more than you can afford to lose. Now, obviously, the way I'm invested is because I'm so heavy into crypto because that's where all of my research and knowledge comes from, because I'm heavily into it. And you don't have to start big. $100 every week or $100 every paycheck, that could literally be like $400 or $500 by September, that $100 that you invested right now. So there's never a moment where you have to feel like, oh, it's not worth it for me. In my personal opinion, even if you get started here, like, you're still early.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And taking that safe approach, it allows you to ride out some of these waves that we have in volatility, because a lot of people, when they over leverage themselves and invest more than they can afford to lose, they have to sell. They'll see this big drop and be like, oh my God, I gotta get out. And they might have even taken a loss because they're newer to the market. And then they watch it go up another 500% after they got out, and they just feel gutted because they got beaten by the market. And most people lose money in these markets for a reason. It's because the psychology of these markets is vicious. And so that's why I always take the safe approach: dollar cost average in, dollar cost average out. That is absolutely the best advice. Yeah. All right. I see that somebody's requested that we post the coins. I'm going to kill the live stream, but I think I can still type a message with those. If not, I'll post it as a comment. We've covered a number of them. I don't know if I remember all of them, but I'll try to post as many as I can.
Sweet.
Anyways, thanks everyone. This has been fantastic. Thanks for spending your Friday evening with us. This has been so great. I love chatting crypto all the time, so it's nice to just have people to talk to about all this stuff. You guys have been awesome. The questions were fantastic. Brendan, you're a fantastic co-host, and I look forward to doing this with you again. And Vimal, thank you for setting this all up in the background, and we'll look forward to the next time. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend, and appreciate you being here.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.